When it comes to comics, there comes comic book writers, and then there's Frank Miller. Granted, he wrote the masterpiece that was The Dark Knight Returns, and then somewhere between that, he kinda lost his mind and made All-Star Batman and Robin. During the year 2005, DC wanted to reintroduce their characters to the new generation of readers, similar to how Marvel did with their Ultimates. These specific comics would go under the title and branding All-Star, with only Superman and Batman getting the All-Star treatment. A Batgirl and Green Lantern comics were in the work, but were never finished or even done from what I heard. Let's take a look at this bizarrely entertaining and horribly written story that is Frank Miller's All-Star Batman and Robin.
Wait, are bananas vegan?
Yes, it's fruit.
Yogurt!
Our story begins with a young Dick Grayson doing tricks midair with his family at the circus, and also inner monologuing to himself in a weird way. They're always there for me. They always catch me. Mom and Dad, they always catch me. They're always there for me. I fly. Was the circus day a part of a cult or something? What the hell? We then meet Vicky Vale, who's half naked and getting ready to go on a date with Bruce Wayne. We're then shown 2 close-ups of her butt.
Good God.
Your smile can't disguise.
I feel bad for Jim Lee. Vicky Vale then gets dressed up for the date, and Alfred picks her up to tell her that they're going to the circus, and all Vicky Vale can think of is, I'm having a date with Bruce Wayne. I'm having a date with Bruce Wayne. I'm having a date with Bruce Wayne. This is going to take up 80% of the dialogue, I'm assuming. We transition to the Flying Graysons still doing their tricks, and we also see Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne watching them in awe, where we're introduced to another repeated word sequence for like the 3rd time, because Dick Grayson is falling to his supposed death. Oh, but look, wait, he throws a grappling hook and saves himself in the last second. Vicky Vale is astonished, and Bruce Wayne says the weirdest fucking thing. I've had my eye on him for a while. He's something alright.
What the f did you just say?
Vicky Vale says again once to herself, I'm having a day with Bruce Wayne. God damn it, we get it. You're on a day with Bruce Wayne. I've had enough with this comic at this point. This is getting ridiculous. Have some action happen already. Ask and thou shalt receive. Huh. With Vicky Vale and the viewers being distracted by this horrible event, Bruce uses this opportunity to vibe out of existence and find the killer. Shouldn't be hard to find them considering he just shot both of them out of, in public. Stupidest idea. The killer gets hit by a batarang laced with snake pit poison, and Batman interrogates him to the point of climax. Meanwhile, Vicky Vale's dealing with one of Frank Miller's cliches of the crooked cop, as she attempts to rescue Dick Grayson from their clutches. Unfortunately for her, she can't throw hands like Marv from Sin City, so she gets her shit rocked. Vicky Vale and Alfred team up so they can chase down the cops and rescue Dick Grayson.
Miss Vale, I advise you slow the fuck down now. What the fuck?
Meanwhile, the cops try to threaten Dick Grayson so he doesn't let the cat out of the bag. Vicky Vale pulls out her camera so she can take pictures for evidence instead of getting out of the car and helping Dick Grayson out of the predicament he's in. But then she notices a bat flying through the air. I hate the country. I hate bats. Bats suck. Ugh.
I knew these caps would take the boy to the glutch, so I set up my Sonics.
Yeah.
Bats like my
It's crazy.
Sonics.
It's crazy.
They like them
Get
a
out
lot.
of here. Get in the car. What about the brat? Screw the damn brat. Let the bats eat him.
Everybody's in position. I kill the Sonics. On your feet, soldier. You've just been drafted into a war. From here, Gotham City is beautiful. Beautiful like Edgar Allan Poe's Sweet Lenore. Of her small cough brought a spot of blood to her lip, and the poet knew she was plagued, doomed. There's no sign of dry rot that eats at the bones of my city. Not from up here. I just kidnapped a traumatized youngster. What the fuck?
Why? Why is this a thing? Why? Why does he talk this weird? Who is this Batman? This isn't Batman. Someone just... It's Crackman. It's Crackman. It's Crackman.
Keep it away. Fluorescent light bulb. Jingly keys.
Batman knocks Dick Grayson out with some gas, and meanwhile, Alfred is tending to Vicky Vale's injuries at the crash site. And this entire scene consists of Vicky Vale saying the same darn thing over and over and over and over and over and over. So let's focus on something else, like Alfred's goddamn physique. Jesus. Dude just lives off of protein and just weights, probably. We then go back to Crackman, who talks to himself again in his head.
Welcome to my world, Dick Grayson. Bats and rats and warts and all. You poor boy, you poor little bastard. Welcome to hell. Hell or the next best thing. The gas calms him down in the space of seconds. He won't be having nightmares. Not the kind that aren't true anyway. Then he starts fussing. The gas was supposed to knock him out. His brain ought to be sailing past the moon right now. What's this Brad made of?
Thank you, Frank Miller, for turning Batman into an actual child kidnapper and a screw loose and a nutcase. This honestly disgraces the entire point on why Batman adopted Dick Grayson. Batman took in Robin to make sure he would have a childhood, something that he didn't have, a parental figure to look up to, and a good stable life.
Shouldn't be surprised, since you indoctrinated Robin into crime fighting at the ripe old age of 9.
Robin needed to help bring the men who murdered his family to justice.
So he could turn out like you?
So that he wouldn't.
Regardless of what people say, Batman is very much a nice person at his core. He may be ruthless and vicious, but in reality, he's one of the nicest characters you would ever interact with.
That's why I've decided to take him in, as a foster son, if he'll have me. I was lucky enough to have you to guide me through those dark days, Alfred.
Even if there have been some rough patches with both of them as with the relationship, Robin turned out amazing, if not the best replacement for Batman, without having to take the mantle of Batman. With Frank Miller's version,
Oh, you've been drafted into a war,
Mr.
kid.
Batman, I believe
You've been
you should
drafted
step
into a
on the pedal now.
war.
Get down on the ground, mother...
Hey, Dick, you wanna know my favorite line from Vin Diesel?
I want my mommy and daddy
I am Groot!
Crackman then proceeds to drive the car into a bunch of police cars, and not acknowledging the fact that he probably killed a whole bunch of police officers. Thanks, Frank Miller. He proceeds to then turn the Batmobile into a Batjet. Okay, you actually know what? That's actually pretty badass. I'll give you a point there, Frank Miller. Now away from the cops, Dick Grayson proceeds to lose his shit because he's just been kidnapped by this random ass dude, while also being gassed to sleep and verbally abused. Oh, let's add physical abuse to that list too. Now this scene right here is pretty interesting as it has Batman contemplate what he just done to Dick Grayson and what repercussions he's going to bring into his life in general. It's actually a pretty interesting scene seeing him try to suppress the emotions and saying that grief is an enemy, which also ties into some character traits of Batman. I would say this is a pretty good concept if I hadn't read the entire series already, which was canceled, by the way. As we close the story, Dick Grayson is now contemplating what to do next. And he decides he'll join Batman on his crusade to find the killer and to bring justice to both his parents. The end.
I'm like, hey, what's up? Since you're pretty awesome, you came in the world. No longer stand between me and my destiny.
I told you it was always between us.
If it is much of existence, try just face it from my memory forever. Yes, let this be our final battle. Let